Funny story, I actually personally hate Monopoly. I'm so sorry if this puts me in a bad place with that brand. To take 5 hours of my time to end up losing is trash. So I'm just gonna stick with the collecting part, because you do always collect properties, but you may not win. Me and Ari thought it was really funny to have a song called Monopoly, because she knows if anytime she asks me to play, I'm gonna say, no thank you. Thank you next. It was February 1st, 2019, one of the worst sessions I've ever had. It was one of those scenarios where I had to find a studio, and there was no other studios available besides this one. I didn't write anything down, but I'm pacing for now 2 hours while he's trying to get the computer to just work. So problem number one. Problem number two, I finally get into the booth. I'm in like this closed dungeon space, and he's in a whole other room, and I have my headphones on, and I'm like running through the lyrics, excited, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, at one point, I'm like, one more time? Hello? One more time? And this goes on for like, I don't know, probably like a minute and 30 while the beat still plays. And this man comes back on into the talkback and he says, oh, my bad, I went to go get my Postmates. I said, sir, you have to tell me these things. Just tell me, like, I'm like in here vibing out, no idea that no one's listening to me or being able to restart the song. So I was just like, I'm gonna take my things, I will not be returning. So just to clarify, Tim Suby is the producer of the song, not the really trash, I'm sorry if he's listening, but you were pretty bad. You know, I'd be willing to pay for some classes for Pro Tools for him. I've been on a roll. Where you been? Real protective with my soul. Where you been? The more you're in the public eye, the more people try to connect to you or try to get at you. And so I'm just very meticulous and particular about who I allow to do that. I'm friendly with everybody, but I also like, there's a very strong, thick line between me, my soul, and like your motives and everything. So it takes a little bit of work to get through that line. And there's very few people that have crossed that. So just a little protective, shouty. Is your GPS even on? Where you been? Do you even have a plan? Do you even know where you're going? Do you have goals? Even if I know where I'm going, I'll put the address in so I know how much time it takes. And I feel like with your life, you kind of have to lay things out like that. So keep your GPS on, y'all. Matter of fact, I don't even care where you've been. I'm not gonna let your journey or what you have to say come into my energy, my vibe, because I feel good over here. We good over here. Bad vibes get off of me. Out of here with that fuckery. You take a fly swatter and swat that shit away. It's like when you're the shit and bad vibes are like flies. Get out of here. You just gotta like protect yourself. Treat my goals like property, collect them like Monopoly. I had written down and printed out some of my goals for just last year, and one of them was to have 2 top 10s at the same time, and the shit happened. Looking back on that goal list, you realize how many things have actually happened for you. So it's really important to like make sure you map out your life, make sure you have a plan, make sure you have, you know, your goals written down and ready for even just for yourself to view, because it's really incredible how you can manifest a lot of that shit and look back on it and be like, wow, I'm kind of on a roll. I probably won't come if there's not a fee. And if they try, come stopping me. I swear both ways, dichotomy. Dichotomy means just basically something like 2 opposing things that are said to be different. And so I thought I was like Lil Jay-Z. I was trying to use a double entendre. and so I was thinking of it like dichotomy, because I like women and men. And also like making sure that people know that like I could do more than one thing, and I swerve both ways. Like I'm about to shake your ass and still score. I like women and men. I think it's important for people to be aware of my sexuality just because of the misrepresentation that, like the lack of representation that bisexual Black women have in the music industry. And I want people to know, who look like me and feel like me, that that's fine and that's tight and you can do that. You don't have to hide, because I did that for a really long time. It's okay to like the P and the D, or the P with the strap-on D, or we can just kiss. whatever. Work so fucking much, need a 20 twin. I would love to be able to be more than one place at one time, like the Jabberwockies. They probably making money in the Philippines and Vegas right now, like because of the masks and shit. So I think it's really cool to work yourself so much that like you could use another you. When you hit the club and you barely got in, while we hit the bank making them investments for the win. It's nice to be selfish now and look nice, but when your kid sees you in those flashy chains and you guys can't afford a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when she's 8, then, sir, ma'am, you fucked up. And the line before where I'm saying when you hit the club and you barely got in, that actually was me. Like I went to this event called Shaba, which is like so poppin', and it's like I would imagine it to be like the Studio 54 of our generation. Literally, I had to sneak in as a group, like with Usher's team, because they let his ass in. So I slid in, and I was in that thing. But I was like, damn, like I had to do all that to just like come to this shit. I guess it's just like a matter of the image that you are able to obtain by being VIP, being in the front of the line, when really your mentality should be being VIP at your bank. Remember when we made a fucking album off that Clico? Ariana and I, and Taylor Parks, Neomza, Cadence, Tommy Brown, Social House, we spent 2 weeks in New York making the bulk of Thank You Next, Ariana's most recent album. Anytime you were to walk in that room, there was champagne. It was very emotional to make. We went from crying to laughing to venting to being angry to me losing my phone over a balcony in New York, and it was on the next balcony. Remember when we made a fucking album? That Clico. Clico is one of my favorite champagnes. Is my favorite champagne. Who am I kidding? Never track my vocals, so shout out to Eric Vitro. Eric Vitro is an amazing vocal coach of the stars. What we mean by tracking vocals is sometimes performers who dance a lot, performers who aren't as talented live, they'll record their vocal and then like kind of lip sing over or do it in some parts where it gets harder. Ariana doesn't ever do that. She's hitting all the high F's and Z's or whatever like every night live. And so she just gives a shout out to her vocal coach who she warms up with before every show and cools down with. And it's just a really nice sentiment. When we played him the song, there's like a video of us on FaceTime with him and his reaction, and it brought him to tears, and it just really was special to see, because I don't think that he ever gets the recognition, especially in song form, that he should. So Eric Vitro, we love you. We're thankful for you and what you've done with and for Ariana's vocals, and you're tight. This been building up, I guess it's friendship like Home Depot. After I wrote that line, I shortly figured out that Home Depot supports Trump. Shame on you. I'm so thankful working with my best friend, she the cheat code. There's been a lot of time spent with Ariana and I in our personal lives. Whenever there's a problem, I'm able to run to her. It's almost like she senses it when there's something wrong. She'll be like, hi, I miss you, as I'm crying. To be able to work with her on this level and write songs, it feels like cheating. I'm like, this can't be this easy. I don't even know how else to describe it. It just feels like unfair how fun and natural it is and how successful it's been because of just that. Where you at? Where you been, ho? Where you been? Where you at, ho? Hey, where you at? Where you been, ho? Hey, I don't care where you been, ho. Been. Where you been, Cletus? I always see like pop divas like Mariah and Whitney when they have done studio recordings together, they're in the same room at the same time with 2 different mics. Ariana and I did that, but we were sharing a mic. At one point we were like ad-libbing, and I don't know why I said, where you been, Cletus? And she literally stopped her vocal and she was like, who? The fuck? And I think it just shows, I guess, a cultural difference that we're so alike, but we're so different. She introduced me to First Wives Club. I guess I'm introducing her to Nutty Professor. We're like 2 opposites, but so much of us is magnetic and like makes sense. So it's just really funny and interesting that really captures the dynamic of a lot of our friendship right there. I guess there's no verse.
It's like hook 1, hook 2, hook 3.
I was like, what is she? She's writing one.
I said hook, post hook, pre-hook, hook. breach.